I signed a kept woman agreement with Chin Shu. He treated me as a substitute for his white moonlight. I treated him as a sponsor to make money. When I got pregnant with his child, I decisively chose to abort. But during my miscarriage, he chose to save the white moonlight first. I planned to leave cleanly when the contract expired, but he broke his leg saving me and in the end set me free. 3 years later we met again. He came to buy flowers on a prosthetic leg for the woman he loved. Only then did I understand. This bastard man's devotion came later than winter and colder than it. Chin Shu was celebrating the white moonlight's birthday at the restaurant. He gave tips to all the staff. I stood among the employees and bowed along with everyone. Happy birthday, Miss Song. And wishing you both a long-lasting happiness. Until the two of them finished dinner. Chin Shu never noticed my presence. Or maybe it was because the piano in front of me blocked his view. I was doing part-time piano performances at this restaurant. Even though Chin Shu gave me 300,000 a month, the kept woman contract still had only 1 month left. After that I would have to find a job on my own. So I came out early to adapt to society, in case I could not handle it when the time came. Before they left, the manager came over and nudged me. Mr. Chin's girlfriend praised the birthday arrangement we prepared for her. Mr. Chin was also very satisfied. He said each employee gets a 5,000 tip. Hurry over and thank them together. Say a few blessing words. I had no way to avoid it. I stood up and joined the staff. Chin Shu lifted his eyes casually. Then his gaze slowly stopped on me. I lowered my head and bowed with everyone. Happy birthday, Miss Song. And wishing you both happiness and a long-lasting future. Song Shangwen propped her chin and smiled brightly. Thank you. But everyone misunderstood. We are not a couple. After saying that, she subconsciously glanced at Chin Shu. What is it? What are you looking at? Chin Shu calmly withdrew his gaze. Nothing. Chin Shu had booked the whole venue for Song Shangwen that night. So after they left, we were allowed to get off work too. Pianists have special performance attire. After changing in the locker room, I put on my own down jacket. My hand subconsciously reached into my pocket. I touched a piece of paper and froze for a moment. Only when I reached the bus stop did I take out the paper that had grown warm in my hand. It was a pregnancy test report from a week ago. It showed that I was already 2 months pregnant. Hospital corridor. After recovering from the shock and panic of learning I was pregnant, my first reaction was to book an abortion. My friend stopped me. What are you doing? The contract with Chin Shu clearly states that accidental pregnancy must be terminated. She angrily poked my forehead. You are probably the only person in the world still strictly following that stupid kept woman contract. Anyone with eyes can see Chin Shu dotes on you now. What kind of kept woman gets this treatment? She counted on her fingers to give examples. Last time you went to City Z for a concert, there was an earthquake there. He could not reach you and nearly lost his mind. He dropped all his work to look for you. High-speed rail and flights were suspended then. He drove non-stop for 7 hours to find you. Did you forget? She listed 3 examples in a row. I listened quietly, rubbing the pregnancy report in my hand. She took a deep breath and concluded. At least ask Chin Shu what he thinks first. From my point of view, he would never let you abort. If he is happy, he might even propose to you. Interrupted by my friend, the hospital was already closing. And that week was especially busy. I almost forgot about it. My friend said I should ask Chin Shu for his attitude. Song Shangwan's appearance was already his answer. I took out my phone and booked the abortion for a week later. The bus arrived. The reflection on the bus body showed my expression. Calm without any ripples. Giving up some things turned out to be this easy. I got on the bus and found a seat. Suddenly it felt like liking Chin Shu was something from a previous life. In my junior year, several classmates and I entered Chin group as interns. Chin Shu showed me special care alone, but at the same time he seemed unwilling to get too close to me. I suffered daily in anxiety and uncertainty. I accidentally overheard the truth. I went to deliver documents to Chin Shu. Before knocking on his office door, I heard my name mentioned inside. My hand froze in midair. AXU, you are treating that girl Ning Yu as Shangwan's substitute, though the face does not look alike. That vibe is somewhat similar. Chin Shu spoke. Not that similar. His friend continued. True, she cannot compare to Shangwan. She is so aloof. You even fell out with the Chin family for her. After finally persuading them to accept her, she insisted on chasing dreams and chose to study abroad even if it meant breaking up with you. Chin Shu stayed silent. His friend tried to persuade him again. But if you think Ning Yu is fine, just keep her by your side. I really do not want to see you like a walking corpse anymore. And it is obvious that girl likes you quite a lot. I listened to the whole conversation numbly. Reason told me I should stay away from Chin Shu from then on. But the pain of sudden withdrawal surged like waves, layer after layer, almost drowning me. So when Chin Shu pushed the sponsorship contract in front of me, I stayed silent and did not move right away. Chin Shu assumed I refused and nodded politely. Sorry, I overstepped. I snapped back to my senses, took the pen and signed the contract and smiled. No, I was just shocked by the amount you offered. I brainwashed myself. I am with Chin Shu for the money. I do not like him at all. Unfortunately, the first brainwashing attempt failed. I moved into Chin Shu's house but slept in separate bedrooms. We barely had any intimate contact. At most he would hold my hand when there were many people outside. When Chin Shu took me to dinner at a restaurant, we ran into one of his former business partners. Oh, President Chin, what a coincidence. The man glanced at me and his look changed slightly. After a few pleasantries the topic shifted to me. And this is. Chin Shu's devotion to Song Xiangwen was well known in their circle. Almost everyone assumed he would wait for her forever. The man assumed I had nothing to do with Chin Shu. His gaze toward me grew more and more unrestrained. Chin Shu ladled a bowl of soup and placed it by my hand. Without even lifting his head he said, "My girlfriend." Not only that man but even I was stunned. The dead water in my heart, well, not completely dead, seemed to come back to life. After leaving the restaurant I was still distracted by his words. I did not notice the steps and twisted my ankle. I did not dare trouble him to help me, so I said, "President Chin, you go get the car. I will wait here." Chin Shu said nothing and directly picked me up. Sensing my discomfort he lowered his gaze and asked, "Is this uncomfortable for you?" I wrapped my arms around his neck and shook my head, not daring to look at him. When we got home he carried me all the way to the sofa. When he stood up I gathered my courage and kissed his cheek. "Thank you, boyfriend." A very presumptuous sentence. But Chin Shu did not blame me for crossing the line. We seemed to really start dating. After the summer internship ended I returned to school. When I had no classes he would personally come pick me up and take me out. When watching the sunrise by the sea, Chin Shu hugged me from behind seeing that I was cold. "Better now. I still feel a bit cold. Hold me tighter," I said seriously. He did not expose my lie, smiled faintly and held me a little tighter. Chin Shu indulged me but he had a bottom line. That bottom line was Song Xiangwen. On New Year's Eve I accidentally broke the hand-painted teacup Song Xiangwen personally fired for him. Chin Shu glanced at the shards on the floor. His tone was still calm. "I remember telling you not to touch the items in this display cabinet. This side is all Song Xiangwen's things," I hurriedly explained. I saw the cup was about to fall and wanted to straighten it. "I am sorry. I can compensate you with a new one. I can fire pottery too. And I have learned painting. I can copy the original pattern." The unfinished words choked off by his faint chuckle. He examined me like an idiot. "Why would you think your things can be compared to hers? Ning Yu," he reminded me. "It seems you forgot. We are not in an equal romantic relationship." I opened my mouth, but found I could not make a sound. The ending of that day was not decent. Chin Shu took out the sponsorship contract, flipped open his silver lighter and set it on fire in front of me. "Our transaction ends here. You can leave now. The few months you stayed with me, I will still pay you according to the salary stated in the contract. My assistant will settle it monthly." He chose polite words, calling sponsorship fees salary. I packed 2 completely full suitcases. I had treated this place as my home and bought many things. While I packed, Chin Shu sat on the living room sofa. Every time I passed him to grab something, it felt like being executed again. It was impossible to get a taxi in the villa area. 10:30 at night. Wearing a bulky coat I dragged my suitcase forward awkwardly. I did not even have the energy to feel sad, because I still had to watch out for the ice under my feet, to avoid falling. As for how I felt that night, it was hard to sum it up with just sadness. It was more like all negative emotions mixed together, piling up in my heart and surging up to strike my nerves, making me suffer both mentally and physically, to the point I wanted to die. Chin Shu acted as if nothing had happened. On countless sleepless nights I could see him on his friends' social media. He was partying with friends at clubs, occasionally going to Hong Kong to watch horse races. He attended 2 charity auctions, buying a diamond bracelet and a last-century pocket watch. It took me 3 months to barely become normal again. Library, classroom, dorm. I returned to my old 3-point routine life. I met Chin Shu again at a bar. A roommate was short one person for a mixer and dragged me along. Chin Shu appeared when the guy sitting across from me asked if he could add my WeChat. Seeing him I froze instinctively. Chin Shu did not linger, his gaze passed over me and entered a second-floor VIP room. My roommate's ex-boyfriend found out she was at a mixer, drank too much and came to cause trouble. "You broke up with me only days ago and you cannot stand it already. I will let you go find men everywhere." He smashed a steel pipe onto the table. The glass surface shattered and shards flew everywhere. I raised my arm to block, but a pair of hands protected me faster. Chin Shu shielded my head. His hand was cut by glass. My roommate screamed and ran away. Her ex went crazy chasing and swinging the pipe, running toward us. Chin Shu pulled me into his arms and kicked him in the chest. The man fell to the ground. Chin Shu glanced at him like looking at trash, and told his assistant to dump him at the police station, then pushed me into the back seat of the car. As soon as the divider rose, his kiss came down forcefully. I could not push him away. Barely catching my breath, I said, "We terminated the contract. We have nothing to do with each other now." Chin Shu held me firmly. "What I burned was a backup contract. The contract is still valid. And you came out to a mixer." The hand on my waist tightened. "Ning Yu, is this how much you like me? In 3 months did you ever once reach out to me on your own?" I pressed my lips together and said nothing. Chin Shu kissed me again. Back at the villa, the moment we entered he pinned me against the entryway and kissed me. There was no time to turn on the lights. After a long while he pulled back slightly, his gaze still oppressive. "Did you give him your WeChat?" I realized a beat later he meant the guy across from me at the bar. I shook my head. Chin Shu stared at me for 2 seconds, then picked me up and walked toward the bedroom. My head was dizzy. I felt like I still liked him, but it was a little different from before. Before I could think further, he dragged me into a new vortex. Because it was my first time, Chin Shu was very considerate of me. It was not as painful as I imagined. Later it became a bit hard to bear. Chin Shu held me down and looked at me from above. "These 3 months did you ever think of me?" I answered brokenly, "Every day." Chin Shu was satisfied and slowed down. He leaned in and kissed the tip of my nose very good. The next day when I woke up, Chin Shu was holding me intimately from behind. I thought my emotions would be complicated and overwhelming, but I just felt inexplicably empty. A kind of calm, heavy emptiness. I moved back into the villa again. This time I only brought a very small suitcase. Chin Shu took it and weighed it. "So light." I nodded, "Just some clothes and daily necessities." He responded indifferently, "If you lack anything, just buy it." Chin Shu pinched my fingertips and asked in a low voice, "Is 300,000 enough?" "Enough." I still paid my dorm fees every year. Most of my things were still in the dorm, because I never knew when Chin Shu would kick me out again. Keeping the dorm meant I would not end up on the streets. That display cabinet with Song Shangwan's things, I never touched it again. Once Chin Shu was having an online meeting in the study. He asked me to get another laptop placed at the bottom of that cabinet. I stood there awkwardly. Chin Shu looked up. "What is it?" I hesitated and said, "You should get it yourself. I am not comfortable touching that cabinet." He froze for a moment, took off his headset, stood up and led me to the cabinet. "From now on you can freely touch everything in this cabinet. None of the things here have any special meaning." He said it so calmly, like he had already let go of Song Shangwan. I nodded obediently, but I still never touched it. The bus arrived and the broadcast pulled me back to my thoughts. As soon as I got off, the biting cold wind poured into my collar. My mind became clearer. Suddenly I understood. 3 years ago when I chose to get back together with Chin Shu, it was inertia from when I had just stopped liking him pushing me toward him. But the liking gradually stopped. By his side I could no longer be happy like before. What remained was only habit. Back at the villa, all the lights were off. I was not surprised. After all, today was Song Shangwan's birthday. It was normal for Chin Shu to spend the whole day with her. After showering, my body finally warmed up. I lay under the soft blanket and closed my eyes. I slept very well. The next day I woke up and opened my phone. A local news push stood out in the center of the screen. Genius painter Song Shangwan's boyfriend suspected to be local real estate tycoon Chin Shu. The photo showed the two of them standing downstairs at Song Shangwan's place at night. I blinked and fully woke up, got up and washed up. When I came out of the room I saw Chin Shu sitting in the dining room. The nanny brought out the last bowl of porridge and returned to her room. "Come here." Chin Shu put down the pad in his hand. I walked over and naturally sat in his lap. "You are not going to work today. I came back first to have breakfast with you." He touched the back of my head. I yawned. The news showed that Song Shangwan's neighborhood was quite far from here. Would Chin Shu not be tired going back and forth? Just then the phone beside him rang. He glanced at it, pressed speaker and tossed it back on the table. It was his assistant. "Boss, it is like this. Are you with Miss Song? Since you did not say anything, the PR department does not know whether to pull the trending topic." Only then did Chin Shu see the news. He looked at me first, then said, "Withdraw it." After hanging up he lifted me higher in his arms. "What are you thinking about?" I shook my head, bored, still feeling a bit sleepy. "Not sure if it is because of the pregnancy." Chin Shu suddenly said, "What you saw at the restaurant last night was just celebrating a birthday for a regular friend." I nodded again and did not speak. Last night Song Shangwan had already said they were not together yet. Chin Shu pinched my chin and shook it. Unhappy. I immediately tensed up. Smiled at him, not at all. Just a little bored. One very important rule in kept woman training: do not get jealous casually, because you have no right. Since returning to Chin Shu 3 years ago, I started treating him completely as a sponsor and dealing with him cautiously. Besides, I was leaving in 1 month. Getting jealous would probably make him angry. The last 300,000 might not even be paid. So you went to do part-time work? Yes. After nearly half a minute he spoke again. I am meeting some friends tonight, come with me. So you will not be bored at home. I had no objection. But before going I did not know Song Shangwen would also be there. I heard it when I reached the private room door. Brother Shu, be honest, did you bring Ning Yu here just to make Shangwen mad? Qin Shu showed little emotion. She was bored at home. It has nothing to do with others. Tisk tisk, brother Shu, these 2 years you really are something. Not only are you not tired of her, you are getting more invested. If one day she accidentally gets pregnant, would you even marry her? Qin Shu flicked ash into the ashtray, his tone unchanged. Marrying someone with no value to me is something only an idiot would do. That person snorted. You did not say that when you said you were willing to give up the Qin family inheritance to marry Shangwen. Another person added. How is that the same? Does Ning Yu even deserve to be compared to Shangwen? I stood there looking at my shadow. Some things became clear. Qin Shu probably liked me, but that liking was very faint. After all, keeping a canary for 3 years, developing some feelings was only natural. Song Shangwen and her best friend arrived last. Many people subconsciously looked at Qin Shu, wanting to see a different reaction. Song Shangwen laughed. Do not do that, it is awkward. Qin Shu and I met a few days ago. Now we are completely just friends. I lowered my head and focused on eating. A free high-end restaurant. Now every meal counted. Midway, Song Shangwen called out to me. I wanted to say earlier you looked familiar, and I finally remembered. You were the pianist at the restaurant that night, right? She smiled at me teasingly. Has Qin Shu become stingy now? So rich yet letting his girlfriend work part-time. Someone who drank too much scoffed. What girlfriend? Just a little thing kept by his side. Qin Shu lifted his eyes and looked at him. The atmosphere instantly turned cold. That person sobered up immediately. I drank too much and misspoke. Everyone had different expressions. Only I did not react and picked up another meatball. He was not wrong. Seeing that I never looked up, looking unconcerned, Qin Shu spoke lightly. You are completely focused on eating. I turned and looked at him blankly. What? Can I not eat? Maybe the way I puffed my cheeks with a meatball made him feel dumb. The chill in Qin Shu's eyes faded slightly. He raised his hand and brushed the non-existent crumbs from my mouth. His brow lifted faintly. Forget it. Why would I argue with you? Qin Shu ordered another plate of meatballs and told them to place it in front of me. On the other side, Song Shangwen was poking at the food on her plate with chopsticks, looking like she had no appetite. After a moment her wrist turned. In a gap no one noticed, she picked up a peanut, put it in her mouth expressionlessly. The dinner was nearing its end. Qin Shu barely spoke anymore, mostly watching me eat. I did not feel embarrassed. Recently my appetite was great, not sure if it was related to pregnancy again. Seeing me put down my chopsticks, Qin Shu checked the time, then rubbed my hair. It is still early. Anywhere you want to go I will go with you. As soon as he finished speaking, the sound of chopsticks dropping came from nearby. Song Shangwen was leaning on the table, seeming to have trouble breathing, her expression pained. Her best friend quickly realized it was an allergy. Shangwen is allergic to peanuts. Who ordered the peanuts? I was a little surprised and answered slowly, it was me. She narrowed her eyes, half joking, half serious. What a coincidence. Do you only like peanuts so much that you just happen to order something Shangwen is allergic to? Qin Shu put his coat over my shoulders and looked at the woman. She did not know about the allergy. With Qin Shu stepping in, the friend fell silent awkwardly. She hooked Song Shangwen's arm, trying to help her up, but instead she slid down and fell to the ground, knocking over the solid wood coat rack beside her. I could not dodge in time. It hit my back. I pitched forward, my stomach hitting the edge of the table. The pain made it hard to stand. I instinctively reached for Qin Shu beside me, but grabbed nothing. He had somehow moved in front of Song Shangwen and bent to hold her. Song Shangwen pushed him away. Do not. I can go myself. It is better for us to keep some distance. Qin Shu frowned. What are you making a fuss about? As he spoke he picked her up directly. Before stepping out of the room he suddenly remembered me and turned back. I looked at him quietly. Aside from a pale face there was nothing unusual. He said, I will take her to the hospital first. Let the driver take you home. I will come back to be with you later. I said okay. After he left I also stood up and said goodbye. I took a taxi to the hospital. It was not that the abortion had to be done immediately. It was just that my stomach kept hurting. This child might not need to wait for me to take it out. Not much of a coincidence. It was the same hospital Qin Shu went to. After looking at the ultrasound the doctor said the child was indeed gone. After the procedure the doctor told me to rest well these days. I thanked him and left. When I reached the first floor I ran into Qin Shu accompanying Song Shangwen for an IV. Chin Shu stood up and walked toward me. Why did you come to the hospital? He reached out and brushed my cheek. Your face looks bad too. What is wrong? I felt weak all over and my voice was low. I was hit by the coat rack at the restaurant. It hurt a bit so I came to get it checked. Chin Shu's voice sank. Why did you not say anything earlier? It did not hurt that much earlier. How were the results? Ning Yu let me see the injury. I shook my head. It is nothing. The doctor said just rest a few days. I glanced toward the infusion room and said, she seems to need a change of drip. You should go find a nurse. I will head back first. When Chin Shu turned away I left. There were 29 days left until the contract expired. Chin Shu clearly had not let go of Song Shangwen. He would probably agree to let me leave a month early. Chin Shu was not the kind of person to be stingy over 300,000. He probably would not deduct my last month's money. Chin Shu came back after I had fallen asleep. The next morning I woke up with an arm around my waist. I moved and woke him. He pulled me back into his arms. I turned my head. Are you awake? The man hummed and kissed the back of my neck. When I sensed the kiss moving downward I dodged. My period came. Chin Shu. Early. Yes. He did not say anything. His hand moved to my lower abdomen and gently rubbed it. After washing up it was already late. But Chin Shu was still eating breakfast slowly. It was past his usual time to go to the office. Today I will stay with you. I am not going to the company. I widened my eyes in surprise. Really? Chin Shu's voice was gentle. He held me and kissed the corner of my mouth. Yes. Anywhere you want to go. I shook my head. No, let us stay home. I actually want to discuss something important with you. The hand playing with my hair paused. He raised his eyes and looked at me. I had almost never used the word you in this formal way with him. Last time was 3 years ago, the day I signed the contract with him. The living room was quiet, but not peaceful. More like the air was thick and sticky, oppressive and hard to breathe. After I said I wanted to terminate the agreement a month early and leave, Chin Shu lowered his eyes and stared at the termination document on the coffee table, silent for a long time. Finally he spoke calmly. I have been over Song Shangwen for a long time. Now we are just ordinary friends. I have no thoughts about her. If you do not like me interacting with her, I will avoid seeing her too much in the future. He even mentioned the display cabinet with Song Shangwen's things. You can throw away everything inside if you want. Why would a sponsor explain these things to a kept woman? I did not understand what he meant. So I tested the waters and asked, do you mean you will not allow me to terminate the contract early? Then waiting another month is fine too. I thought you were eager to be with Miss Song. Sorry, I misunderstood. Chin Shu looked straight into my eyes. After a long while again, Ning Yu, what do you think our relationship is? I answered quickly. An employment relationship. Chin Shu nodded in understanding. He stood up, picked up the contract and flipped through it casually. You do not love your employer yet you are willing to do everything intimate with him. He gave a silent faint smile and tossed the contract back onto the coffee table. He commented lightly, you are really willing to go all out. Chin Shu was gone for a day. He only came back in the evening. Behind him was Song Shangwen wearing a coat in the same color palette as his. As she changed into slippers she waved at me. Hello, we will be disturbing you for a while. I nodded dully. Okay, then I will ask the auntie to prepare a couple more dishes. Chin Shu followed me into the kitchen. He instructed the auntie. Recently do not make anything related to peanuts. The auntie looked awkwardly at the peanuts she had just bought on the table. Xiao Yu said she wanted peanut dessert. Chin Shu left a single sentence, throw it away, and walked out of the kitchen. The auntie hesitated. I shook my head at her. It is fine auntie, throw it away. Song Shangwen pulled Chin Shu along to show her around every part of the villa. The two chatted back and forth with an easy atmosphere making me seem unnecessary. I quietly went back to my room, leaving the space to them. After a while the auntie came knocking with coffee. Xiao Yu sir is in the study, he wants you to bring the coffee in. She clearly could have brought it in herself. Obviously he had something to say to me. I took it and knocked on the study door. Come in. I placed the coffee by his hand. Chin Shu was replying to emails and did not look at me at all. I plan to let Song Shangwen recuperate here for a month. After all, she had an allergic reaction from the peanuts you ordered and her body has not fully recovered. As your. The sound of typing stopped for 2 seconds. Chin Shu seemed to think, then found the title ironic. When he spoke his tone shifted slightly. Sugar daddy compensating her on your behalf is only right. This was the first time Chin Shu used that word. It drew a clearer line between me and him. There was no point arguing whether Song Shangwen allergy had anything to do with me. He favored Song Shangwen and wanted to indulge her. The truth did not matter. I nodded okay. Then I will ask the auntie to make more nourishing soups for her recently. After nearly half a minute of silence, Chin Shu closed his laptop and pushed it aside. Then he grabbed my waist and lifted me onto the desk. He braced his hands on either side of my legs and studied me closely. Even if I bring my ex-girlfriend back, you are not upset. Ning Yu. Chin Shu lifted his hand and cupped my face, rubbing gently. It looked like tenderness, but there was a chill in the movement. You are indeed qualified to be a lover. I pressed my lips together, feeling uneasy at this unfamiliar Chin Shu. When he leaned closer, I instinctively pressed against his shoulder. What are you doing? Doing what lovers should do. My whole body tensed and I said softly, I told you this morning I am on my period. Not doing it. He continued to lean in, brushing the tip of his nose against mine. Just kissing. What is the problem? Just before contact, Song Shangwen voice outside the study stopped Chin Shu. Axu, I want to go see the garden. Will you come with me? I quietly let out a breath of relief. Chin Shu left and I was still sitting on the desk collecting myself. Even though I had prepared myself mentally long ago, the thought of Chin Shu being intimate with Song Shangwen and then coming back to be close with me, my mental cleanliness kicked in and I still could not accept it. Song Shangwen fully moved in. She seemed to be adapting in advance to life as the lady of the house. Standing at the corner of the second floor, she called the auntie. Auntie, why can this kind of painting hang here? Do you not think it looks cheap and out of place with the others? Besides, AXU does not like this style. Hurry and take it down. The auntie glanced at me curled up on the sofa. This painting was hung by Xiao Yu. Sir approved it. Song Shangwen said it is fine, take it down. AXU said I am a professional interior designer, I can move things around his house freely. Then she turned to me and smiled apologetically. If I find a suitable place I will help you hang it back up. Okay, thank you. I stared out the window and calculated the time. Less than 20 days left. Thinking about getting 300,000 when the contract ends. Song Shangwen provocations were not that hard to endure. She loved reminiscing with Chin Shu about moments from when they dated. Do you remember that year you fell out with your family for me and we holed up in my tiny rental? You planned to work 3 jobs a day and save money to buy me a diamond ring. Chin Shu responded very lightly, very briefly. Song Shangwen did not notice and started recalling the next scene. I was used to being treated like air. To give the two of them plenty of private time. Aside from my restaurant part-time job, I spent most of my time outside looking for a place to live. I got off work early that day. I did not want to go home so early to face them. So I went to another restaurant and worked 3 hours as a part-time piano player. When I finished, I realized my phone had run out of battery and shut off. I got home around 11. As soon as I opened the door, I ran straight into Chin Shu, who was heading out with car keys in hand. He grabbed my arm tightly. Where did you go? Why was your phone off? Were you afraid I would contact you? I was stunned by his sudden anger. I was working part-time. My phone died and shut off. I rarely saw Chin Shu lose control. The last time was when I was at a concert in Z City and an earthquake hit. He drove 7 hours, his eyes red with exhaustion. Sorry, I did not even know my phone was stolen. I made you worry. Chin Shu did not blame me and pulled me into his arms. He sighed softly. I almost went crazy with worry. This time too. After I finished explaining, he hugged me again. His hoarse voice sounded above my head. I thought you left. My head was forced against his chest, my voice muffled. I would not. There are still 10 days until the contract ends. I will not leave early. Chin Shu, breathing clearly, paused for half a beat. He loosened his grip and let me go. You are still going to leave? If he spoke, his anger would only grow. I lowered my head, stared at my toes, and stubbornly stayed silent. We fell out again. Chin Shu walked past me and stormed out, slamming the door with a thunderous bang. Chin Shu has become unpredictable. He barely talks to me at home but does not allow me to miss calls or come home late. Song Shangwen noticed his change as well. Every time she tried to start a topic and was ignored, her smile grew more forced. A week before I left, she suddenly stopped me as I was heading out. That Ning Yu, can you return my bracelet to me? You have had it for a long time. Even if it was just to admire it, you should return it now. I looked at her completely confused. What bracelet? I have never taken your things. Chin Shu was coming over from the island counter with coffee. Song Shangwen grew anxious. Chin Shu, hurry and tell her to return my bracelet. She explained that at the gathering that day when I was knocked over by the coat rack, her bag hanging there fell beside me. So it must have been that the bracelet fell out and I picked it up. Because after that no one else touched her bag. Song Shangwen restrained her smile. That was a proposal gift AXU gave me back then. He designed it himself. It is one of a kind and I cherish it. So please return it to me as soon as possible. I did not say anything for so long because I was waiting for you to return it on your own. If you insist, then I will call the police. I shook my head. I truly have not seen your bracelet. Song Shangwen looked to Chin Shu for help. The man set his coffee down on a nearby table and spoke casually. Then call the police. When Song Shangwen went back to her room to call the police, Chin Shu strolled over to me. Being framed feels suffocating, right? I suddenly looked up, frowning at him. He said indifferently, you saw it. Without my protection anyone can bully you. Ning Yu, you have been protected too well these 3 years, foolishly thinking that leaving me would not change your life. You forgot that these 3 carefree years were because I indulged you unconditionally. Qin Shu gripped my wrist and pulled me closer. Ning Yu, be good and stay by my side. I can give you everything you want. Song Shengwen, I will have someone send her away immediately. He lowered his head slightly and stared at me without blinking. I ended things with her long ago. I only have you, Ayu. This might have been the first time Qin Shu softened like this to anyone, but I did not think it was love. Not long ago he was telling his friends he would never marry me. This sudden change was just his possessiveness. I pulled my hand free. The police can help me solve it too. The police arrived quickly. After hearing what happened, they asked me. Miss Song suspects that after they left you immediately took the bracelet and left to sell it. Please explain why you also left immediately after they did that day, and where you went. My hands at my sides curled slightly. After a long pause with no way to avoid it, I said I also went to the hospital. Because I suspected I had miscarried and went to get checked. Almost at the same time, there was a sound behind me of a cup smashing onto the floor, glass shattering. Because the missing item was extremely valuable. After routine questioning, the police asked Song Shengwen to go with them to the station to file a report. And Qin Shu had locked himself in the study all afternoon. In the evening the auntie finished cooking. Xiao Yu, call sir to eat. I pushed open the study door and coughed twice from the thick smoke. Qin Shu heard and crushed the cigarette between his fingers. His voice sounded very hoarse. Sorry I choked you. He opened the window. Standing in the blue-toned sunset, his back looked unreal and lonely. I spoke quietly. You do not have to be like this. That day, even if you had abandoned Song Shengwen and rushed me to the hospital, the result would not have changed. I had already scheduled an abortion. After all, neither of us wanted a child. He did not turn around. You decided that I did not want him. Because I heard it. Qin Shu, that day I heard what you said to your friend. The auntie could not wait any longer and walked over confused. Eat, sir. And Xiao Yu, why are you standing here? Qin Shu did not eat anything. He stayed in the study all night. When I woke up, I opened my phone and checked the date. 5 days left until freedom. I got up and found that all of Song Shengwen things were gone. Qin Shu came out of the bathroom with bloodshot eyes. I sent her back. I said oh and sat down to eat. Qin Shu pulled out a chair and sat beside me. How is your body after the miscarriage? What did the doctor say? I took a sip of porridge and shook my head. I am fine now. Qin Shu said he gave me an explanation for Song Shengwen framing me. The company new project was a fully furnished villa. This job was originally meant for Song Shengwen. For a typical interior design studio, it was an extremely important project. But last night Qin Shu cancelled the cooperation. Since no contract had been signed, there was no need to pay damages. I had nothing to say. I silently lowered my head and drank my porridge. Song Shengwen deliberately targeted me, and losing the project was self-inflicted. But Qin Shu's intervention made everything feel absurd. He was clearly Song Shengwen's accomplice. I could not bring myself to say thank you. My contract with Qin Shu ended on February 15. February 14 happened to be Valentine's Day. With 5 days left, he took me abroad for Valentine's Day. Qin Shu's shirt collar was slightly loose, no longer as crisp as usual. He also carried an indescribable weariness. Compared to before, he felt less aloof and refined. Ning Yu, you just never noticed. Every Valentine's Day I worked overtime in advance to free up that day to spend with you. He leaned back against the island counter. From a long time ago, that contract was just a piece of waste paper to me. I treated you as my lover, you treated me as a sugar daddy. After saying that, his face looked a little pale and he lifted the corner of his lips slightly, as if he found it all ridiculous. 5 days. Qin Shu still chose the faraway Bordeaux. The round trip alone would take 1 day. We met a Chinese photographer at St. Andre Cathedral. You both look amazing. May I take a photo of you? I will give the photo to you. Qin Shu held my hand with his other arm draped with an ash gray suit jacket. The shutter clicked. The photo was handed to us. The photographer looked very pleased with the shots and smiled as he said, wishing the two of you a long and happy life together. Not long ago I had said the exact same thing to Qin Shu and another woman. He had clearly thought of that too. His hand paused slightly as he took the photo. Thank you. In the photo, Qin Shu looked warmer than his usual detached self. He had friends in Bordeaux as well. When we had dinner together, Qin Shu introduced me. This is my girlfriend. The man across from us showed a knowing look. Oh, I get it. Guys like you in this circle, who does not have a few girlfriends around for fun? Qin Shu, expressionless, tossed a cherry tomato at his face. Get what? She is a serious girlfriend, the kind I plan to marry in the future. I lowered my eyes and cut into my lamb like I had not heard him. The wine at this restaurant was rich and fragrant. I ended up drinking a few extra glasses. His friend left midway because something came up. I rested my chin on my hand, blinked, and asked Qin Shu, what is the point of saying all this now? I do not like you anymore. Hearing this does not make me happy at all. He tucked the loose strands of hair by my face behind my ear and asked the drunk softly, "Why do you not like me anymore?" "Because you said our relationship was unequal," I said slowly. "You were already being gentle back then. You did not say outright that you were keeping me, that you looked down on me, that you never took me seriously. But I was still really sad. I was sad for a very long time." The man listened quietly. "In the 3 months after we broke up I barely slept. I could not focus in class either. You never post on social media, so I looked for traces of you in your friends' posts. I saw that you were doing just fine without me. You went out with friends and even bid on a diamond bracelet. Thinking about it now, it still makes me feel down. Only this time it has nothing to do with Chin Shu. It is for the version of myself who suffered back then. At the time I thought Song Shangwen had returned. I thought you bought it to give to her. I got a little tired sitting, so I leaned sideways on the table. I thought you two had gotten back together. I hid under the blanket and cried for a long time." Saying this, I curved my lips into a small smile. My roommate even thought I was crying because the advisor scolded me. Chin Shu's voice trembled slightly. "I did not give it to anyone else, and I did not like anyone else. Ning Yu, the bracelet was for you. And I was yours too." My mind was a blur. I did not really understand what he meant and only spoke on instinct. "But I do not want it anymore." The man's eyes flickered. The emotions in them shattered in an instant. On February 14th, we went to the last attraction. For part of the way we chose to take the cable car. Unluckily, just as we were about to arrive, the cable car malfunctioned. The line stopped and we were stuck in midair. We were not too high off the ground, but a fall would most likely cripple us. At first the staff were fairly calm. They told us not to panic and said the equipment was being repaired. But not long after, our car suddenly shook. The staff standing at the terminal suddenly turned pale. He spoke French, which I could not understand. So I asked Chin Shu, "What is he saying?" But I could tell it was not good news. The clamp holding the cable car to the line had loosened. Our car was tilting to the left and slipping off the track. It was about to fall. "He is going to get a steel cable and slide over on the line. Later we will tie it to ourselves, climb out, and we will be safe." Chin Shu looked calm. There should not be a big problem. The tilt grew worse. When the staff slid the rope over, he hesitated, then said a few more words. "What is it?" I asked. Chin Shu's expression did not change. He said the car was now stuck on a single cable and temporarily stable. He told us to hurry and get out. I vaguely felt something was wrong, but Chin Shu did not give me time to think. He opened the door and told me to go first. He said he was heavier and sitting on the other side would keep the car from tilting too much. I slowly climbed out and tied the rope around my waist. The other end was secured to the cable. I was just about to turn back and tell Chin Shu to come out, when the car suddenly dropped right in front of me. With a loud crash, it hit the ground and shattered into pieces. I was left hanging in midair, staring blankly at the ground. Only after a long moment did it sink in. Chin Shu had lied to me again. He was in surgery for 4 hours. The assistant sighed. "The staff just told me he said the car would not hold much longer. There was only enough time for one person to escape, and it had to be fast. If the other person sat in the far left corner, protected their head, the injuries from the fall could be minimized. But President Chin was afraid you would not have enough time. So he stayed in the far right corner without moving to buy you time." I sat on the bench outside the operating room. It felt like I had gone numb. All I heard was the assistant trying to comfort me. "President Chin has already proven with his life how much he loves you. Ning Yu, if you still have a conscience, you should not bring up leaving him again." I felt nothing until the surgery light went out and Chin Shu was wheeled out. I slowly turned my head to look at the doctor. The chances of standing up again are very slim, but if rehabilitation goes well, it is not impossible. When Chin Shu woke up, I was sitting by the bed. You are awake. How do you feel now?" "I will go call the doctor," I asked clumsily. He shook his head slightly. He did not ask about his leg in a cast. Instead, he raised his hand and gently brushed my cheek. His voice was calm. "While I was unconscious, did they bully you? Did anyone tell you to stay with me out of consideration for me getting hurt saving you?" The assistant beside us rubbed his nose and lowered his head. I sniffed and said no. Chin Shu did not say whether he believed me or not. He asked again, "What date is it today?" "The 17th. Chin Shu called the assistant. "Book Ning Yu a flight back home tomorrow. Transfer 300,000 to her card." His pale lips moved slightly as he said to me, "Ning Yu, the contract is over. We are settled. You can leave now." I stood there, my hands clenching and loosening. I did not know what to say and yet felt I could not just leave like this. Chin Shu seemed to know what I was thinking. He smiled faintly. "You do not need to feel guilty. You did not have to be in danger. I was the one who brought you to Bordeaux. Is it not only right that I protect you? You do not owe me anything, Ning Yu." I choked for a long while, then shifted my feet. "Then I wish you a successful recovery." I am leaving. Chin Shu looked exhausted and closed his eyes again. In the end I quit my piano performance job. There was about 10 million on my card. I opened a flower shop near the suburbs. Business was good. I hired one person and it was not too tiring. In the third year after leaving Chin Shu, I fell in love again. The other person was the owner of a nearby shooting club. I rarely thought of Chin Shu anymore, so when we met again it felt like a lifetime ago. He was tall and upright and walked without any obvious problem. My eyes widened. Mr. Chin, your leg has healed. He hummed softly with a faint smile in his eyes. Do you have time to help me pick out a bouquet? I smiled back and said sure. The last trace of guilt from 3 years ago completely dissipated at that moment. My gaze swept over the different types of flowers. May I ask what your relationship is to the person you are sending the flowers to? Different flowers convey different meanings. He was about to answer when another voice interrupted. My boyfriend walked in holding a cat. Doomy, let's see what mommy is busy with. I scratched the kitten's chin. You two go wait over there for a bit. Once I wrap this bouquet we will go look at wedding venues. My boyfriend nodded. Do you need any help? No, it does not involve carrying anything heavy. He carried the cat to the counter. I asked Chin Shu again who the flowers were for. He lowered his eyes, gathering all his emotions. After I urged him again he finally answered. My beloved. His voice dropped. My beloved. So he was already married. I nodded in understanding and put together a bouquet of champagne roses for him. Chin Shu paid and took it. Thank you. When we met again, there was barely any small talk. We were polite like strangers. Chin Shu walked a short distance. A child standing at the flower shop entrance tugged on his mother's hand. Mom, look. That person is so strange. His right leg is a steel pipe. I froze and looked in the direction the child pointed. There was no one there. My boyfriend poked his head out and called to me. What are you looking at, Ayu? Nothing. I came back to my senses. The empty road was scattered with only a few dry leaves. Another winter had arrived.